Joe Begos, welcome back to Fright Fest.
Thanks for having me. About to finally have a feature in the London Fright Fest after only playing in Glasgow for a couple of years.
Yeah, because you came over many, many years ago. In fact, what year was that you came with your first ever short?
2011.
2011. Yeah. You and Josh flew in, we premiered it was...
Yeah,
what do you remember of that? I mean, I've only got vague memories of yesterday. What do you remember from that screening of the short?
I mean, we had been making shorts for like 10 years, but that was the first one we actually showed in front of an audience, and it opened up in front of Chillerama, so the place was packed, and it was pretty fucking awesome. And it was that like drew me and Josh. We were like, all right, we got the electricity of showing the short to an audience. We're like, let's go fucking make a movie. So I went back and I wrote something that we could make on our credit cards, and literally because we had showed the movie at Fright Fest, we shot a feature 6 months later. So,
that's right.
Which then played at Fright Fest Glasgow.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you remember the Fright Fest Glasgow? Because that's a different vibe entirely to the London thing, which is like 5 different movies screening at once, The Glasgow one is like literally one film at a time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much more chill. I mean, yesterday I came in like right before, or like right as the fest was kicking off at like 6. I came from my flight, came here, and I went into the lobby and I couldn't even fucking breathe. It was so packed and like overwhelming. So it's definitely a much bigger, more crazy vibe with a lot more people. So yeah, it's gonna be fucking wild showing this tiny 16 millimeter movie on a giant fucking screen.
So tonight is the big premiere of Bliss, which a lot of people are super hyped to see, and I've been kind of warning people saying it's a real mind trip, it's a real mind fuck. So with no spoilers, tell us what, for the audience that A, are going tonight, and B, watching this online and watching it in the future, give us a little flavour of what people can expect from Bliss.
Well, it's like it's a super hardcore hallucinatory descent into madness vampire rock and roll movie, I guess is the best way to describe it. Yeah, so it's just I just wanted to make something that was kind of in the vein of like Abel Ferrara, like how, you know, he shot New York in the late 70s, early 80s. Like that's just such a fascinating way that he did it. And living in Los Angeles for so long, Los Angeles has a lot of really fucking shithole pieces of the city that nobody ever actually shows on film. You know, every time they shoot a movie in Los Angeles, it's like a house up in the Hollywood Hills or this big fucking house in Pasadena, and it just, nobody shows like that level of grunge that LA has to offer. The Maniac remake came kind of close, but that's really the only thing that's really delved into that, and I wanted to do something like that. I just wanted to make something really dirty, really hard, really hallucinatory in that grunge Skid Row area of Los Angeles, and you know, I'm super influenced by Abel Ferrara, Gaspar Noé.
That's what I was going to say. It's very Abel Ferrara, isn't it? Which is very different from your previous work.
Yeah.
So with this, you specifically wanted to not recapture, but put some of that, which you love, onto film.
Yeah, and you know, my first 2 movies are much more like homage-based action horror movies. And this, you know, I had trouble making a movie for a couple of years, and I was going through some shit, and I wrote this, which is a super personal movie. It's like the only movie where we follow one character all the way through.
Yeah, and she's fantastic in it.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Did you write the film with her in mind, or did you cast
No, I wrote the
for
film
it?
with everybody in mind besides her, and I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna have to do it. So I had auditions. I held auditions, you know, for this tiny movie, and I was like, man, we're paying scale, which is $100 a day. There's graphic nudity. They're always snorting shit up their nose. There's threesomes. They're covered in blood for half the movie. They're naked for half the movie. I don't know who the fuck we're gonna get. And she came in, and she was like the star of Friday Night Lights and the show Chicago PD, which is big in America. So like she's actually like a legit TV star. And she came in, she's like, I'm so fucking sick of that image. I just want to make a hard movie. And like, she basically assimilated herself to me because the character is me, but it's like a female painter as opposed to a male screenwriter because who wants to watch a guy typing at a fucking computer in his apartment. So she basically assimilated to me and hung out with me for like 3 weeks. She raided my entire wardrobe, the entire movie. She's literally wearing stuff that she pulled from my dresser, like all my
I saw
clothes,
the Death
like,
Waltz.
literally. Yeah, that's my fucking Death Waltz.
Yeah.
So, and she just started listening to all the same music I did, and like picked up on my mannerisms. And the reason that I ended up casting her is I just saw, she came in, she had never ever met me, and she started improving like some of the monologues that are in there, and she was throwing out the way that she was wording stuff, and the stuff she's coming up with was literally the way that I would talk. And Josh, my producing partner, was like, I can't fucking believe that she's talking exactly like fucking like his bullshit. And then she had like this great giant hair that just photographed. I could tell it was gonna look so fucking good. So it was like just all these great elements that fell into place. And I mean, Yeah, she was the fucking perfect person.
Because she was due to be coming literally right up until last week, and then we got the sad email that she's got another gig or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So
in New York, I think.
Yeah, which is a shame. But hey, you're here with a lot of the cast and crew. So we got like the whole mob. Who's here? Who's here with you with the movie?
Graham Skipper's here, who helped me put together some of the money for the movie and also has a role in it. Josh is here, who has a role in it. Producer, cut it.
And we're also showing Josh Ethier's shorts before your feature. So we've got Josh introducing that, which is also...
It's a Channel 83 double feature.
It exactly is. And I think that's a terrific piece as well.
Yeah, kind of goes full circle because now we're showing his short before my feature.
I know.
So maybe in 8 years
are you going to encourage him to make a feature?
Yeah, I'm trying to. But he's like, well, maybe you need to fucking slow down so I can have time to make one.
And your next feature, tell us about that.
Yeah, I actually have to deliver that movie in about 4 days. When I get
Which is one you've done with Fangoria, isn't it?
Yeah, so me and Josh produced it with Fangoria. It's the first movie that I made that I didn't write, which is an interesting thing, but it was a lot of fun. It's like an old school siege movie. It's punk mutants versus Vietnam vets, and Fred Williamson plays a Korean War vet, so they're all veterans. But we got this great cast. We got Stephen Lang, William Sadler, Martin Coe, Fred Williamson, David Patrick Kelly, and they're kind of just defending their veterans bar. So in the U.S. is this thing called Veterans of Foreign War Bar, where if you're a veteran of a foreign war, you just go and hang out in this bar and talk about being in the shit.
So it's called VFW.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it last night, which doesn't really translate, I don't think, to the UK. So they're definitely going to have to retitle it.
Well, I was trying to get them because the VFW too. Like I didn't know what the fuck it was until I read this. I'm like, VFW, what the fuck's that? And then I had to look it up, and now I see them everywhere. But I wanted to call it Veterans Day, which I think is a cooler name. So maybe they'll call it Veterans Day in the UK. Hopefully,
because I was lucky enough to see like an early cut of it, your latest cut, and I really, really loved it. Within like 5 minutes, I knew. It was great. It's like a riff on Warriors meets Escape from New York, that kind of vibe. Yeah. So very different to Bliss.
Yeah, it's actually interesting too because I got hired to do that movie because of Almost Human in Mind's Eye, and then like while I was developing it, I went and made Bliss, just like completely left field. So it's interesting that I'll have these two movies coming out. It'll be a nice juxtaposition of like, oh, this crazy fucking outrageous art horror movie, and then like this fucking white knuckle splatter siege exploitation movie, and they're like so different. So it'll be interesting to have those because VFW comes out in fucking December, I think. So
right. Okay.
Yeah, they're becoming really close together. So it'll be interesting to see, how that plays.